the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Because he'll play well and they'll get their revenge.
I think it's very much in the cards. Switching gears here. Vols football depth chart here, Ryan Schumpert. It's your favorite. We got to have some football here.
Once again, Popeyes, man.
Do you feel better or worse about the tight end room in 2025? I've never been more optimistic, by the way, listening to Ethan Davis on Ball Club Confidential today. I'm all the way back in, Ryan Schumpert. I'm all the way back in. Ethan Davis, Miles Kitselman, Cole Harrison, and the two freshmen, Jack Van Dorselaer and Desan Brame. It's quietly pretty deep. Hey, Ryan Schumpert, am I talking myself back in to? I think this is absolutely the most amount of talent Tennessee's had in that room since Heupel got there, right?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. You have one less proven guy, or at least like last year you went in the season feeling good about three guys. And obviously Tennessee played three guys. Now, going into the season, you feel good about two guys, and there's a number of options. It would not be surprising if they were good players for Tennessee. So, yeah, I think you feel good about it. Probably a little bit better. And I guess the thing I would say is it feels like they're going to be forced to play Ethan Davis more reps. Nothing drove me crazier than last year, like 2 minutes early, Ethan Davis not being on the field. It's like, what? Why is Miles Kitselman, good player, like him? Why is Miles Kitselman on the field in 2 minutes early, not Ethan Davis? So yeah.
Or why didn't he get opportunities in the slot? Like with how banged up you were, and he was a receiver at Collins Hill. Like he won a state title, he played with Travis Hunter. Like Collins Hill was a powerhouse in the state of Georgia. I don't understand why you didn't at least give it a look there. Like that to me will never just blow my mind. I guess you want to keep him at tight end, but you saw like how the Eagles were using Dallas Goedert, like really close to the line of scrimmage, like really close, but he's still standing up position and they were featuring him in that way. I'm like, this is how you got to use that. Like you have somebody, Ethan Davis is super talented, and they got to figure out a way to maximize Ethan Davis this year. Like Kitselman was really good for them this past year, but like the difference between Davis and Kitselman is like if we see a stat line this fall and Davis actually leads Tennessee in like receptions and yards one game, I don't think that means Tennessee lost the game. If you see Kitselman led Tennessee in receptions or yards, Tennessee lost that game like they did this past year. I don't think that's necessarily true for Ethan Davis because I think he has some more juice. I just think he's a potential mismatch that they have not figured out maybe how to maximize him in their scheme. But you got to do it, man. It's year 3. Ethan Davis is just too talented not to figure out how to use this guy.
I agree. I would give them a little bit of a pass last year because I think you'd have to just change a lot of things. Yeah. I don't think you're going to use Ethan Davis in the slot the same way you use a prototypical slot receiver. And Tennessee has the wide split, so they play so far from the line of scrimmage. Then you would have to change a lot, or you had to tinker with a lot of stuff. But yeah, you have a full offseason to deal with it. Your receiver room has never looked worse than it does at the moment. You're going to be desperately searching for options and guys to be good pass catchers for you. And I think you have a very talented one in Ethan Davis. And like you said, a guy that can be a mismatch. So I'm all about that being something that Tennessee is working on this offseason and something Tennessee needs to make a little bit more of a priority in its offense.
I wonder if that's a new wrinkle. Like, I just think there's too much talent. Like, we've talked about it for years of, like, just how the tight end's used in this offense. And you've been kind of always suspect of just what a tight end can be in this game.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's an adjustment because you have so much talent. You've recruited. Like, why would you bring in Brame and Van Dorselaer and you still have Ethan Davis in there? Like, these are all guys who are playmaking tight end potential. And I don't really understand the point of bringing these guys in if you're not going to maximize that position in the passing game. So I wonder if that, because I mean, they did so much 12 personnel last year, but it wasn't like Holden Stays. Look, we'll see what he's like at Indiana, but I just don't think that was a good fit for this scheme and for what Tennessee was trying to do. And I wonder if they could do it all over again. It's like, man, maybe we should have just like let Ethan get those reps and see what we had there with Ethan and Miles, because you're going to have them together again this year anyway. I don't know if Ethan was ready for that moment, but I don't know. I just think there is a lot of, I think that is one of the things we're looking for, like you talked about with the receivers. Like there's so much uncertainty there. I think part of this offseason has to be figure out how to maximize tight ends in this offense a little bit more. I think that's a missing element. It's like you have talented guys in that room, but the scheme hasn't really allowed for them to really maximize their potential. So I don't know. I was wondering if Ethan Davis would be around here for year 3 based on how much he's played the first 2 years. But I think it's a win that he's back. And I mean, there was some Cole Harrison buzz last year, and Kitselman was obviously solid and an older player. And like we said, you have 2 blue chip freshmen who maybe they'll play, maybe not. But like, there's just too much talent in the room not to figure out how to maximize these tight ends a little bit more. Like, you just have to figure it out.
Yeah, and I agree to the point of, like, you have Brame behind Davis, and he is, not that I've been grinding to the Son Brame high school tape, but, like, it's generally speaking, the skill set seems pretty similar. The build seems pretty similar. So once Ethan Davis is gone, you feel like you could have another guy step up into that role. And again, this whole offseason, like, there were 2 things I wanted to see from Tennessee more than anything. Go out and receiver in the transfer portal. Didn't exactly do that. And 2 was to see Josh Heupel needed to take a real long inward look at his offense and how it needed to be adjusted. And I think this would be something that makes sense, especially when you consider that you didn't do part 1 or you didn't do part A. So completely agree. And to your point, and look, I don't know the NIL, Dylan. This is pure speculation. They flipped the Son Brame from Oregon. Oregon is 1, 2, or 3 in NIL money is from the reported stuff. Obviously, none of that's official. I imagine, again, I don't know how much money. I'm not saying Desan Brame was Tennessee's 2nd or 3rd highest paid player in the class, but I imagine they gave him a nice little NIL package. And I don't get why you would do that if you're not going to adjust your offense to make throwing the ball to the tight ends a lot more prominent. And just a lot more of a possibility. I just never saw it as much of a possibility in the way Heupel's offense has been the first 4 years.
I think that's fair. Final things here. 2 quick baseball things for you, Ryan Schumpert. I mentioned at the top of the show, that's all I've been thinking about here, Ryan Schumpert, is Tony Vitello out of nowhere, and Mike Wilson of Knoxville News Sentinel doing his depth chart projections here ahead of the weekend, and like just putting the Tennessee baseball fan base on notice here. Hey, look out for this weekend. It's going to be potentially a little bit different than we anticipated. At least from the outset here against Hofstra.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.